Facebook has had a terrible go of it recently, with its stock dropping more than 25% after offering dreadful guidance for the first quarter of 2021. Facebook has dealt with a long list of controversies over the years, from the Cambridge Analytica scandal to anti-monopoly concerns and the impact of their product on the mental health of teenagers. But Zuckerberg has been able to deal with each issue one after the other, and his company has continued to post record profits. Facebook stock was over a 10-bagger since its 2012 IPO at its high this past September 2021, and its market cap was approaching $1 trillion. With the current earnings release, the stock has dropped about 40% from its recent highs. So, what is the core reason of this historic turn of events? All of it boils down to one man, Tim Cook. In 2021, Apple released a new privacy measure that severely limited advertisers' ability to collect personal data from iPhone users. Despite the fact that they didn't state so, it is evident that this was aimed at Facebook. Facebook's whole business strategy is based on tracking and selling data from its users to marketers. Facebook warned in their most recent earnings call that Apple's new privacy policies will cost them $10 billion in revenue in 2022. On top of that, they're squandering roughly $10 billion every year on the metaverse. Investors appear to believe that the metaverse will be a huge flaw, and that the company's name change was merely a gimmick to divert attention away from the company's core advertising business. Facebook has been one of Silicon Valley's biggest success stories over the past decade, generating hundreds of billions of dollars in value for its stockholders. Are their glory days, however, over? In this video, we will look at why Facebook business is failing and whether Mark Zuckerberg can save the company. But first, if this is your first visit to our Smart Stocks Academy channel, please accept my warmest greetings. Hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell next to it to be the first to know when a new video like this is released. So if you're ready, let's get to the topic. To comprehend what is going on, we must first comprehend Facebook's economic strategy. Despite the fact that all of Facebook's programs, including Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp, are free to download and use, the corporation generates over $100 billion in annual income. Selling digital adverts generates the great bulk of their revenue and more than 100% of their profit. When you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, you'll come across advertisements for a variety of products. Facebook costs a brand anything like 25 cents every time you click on an ad or sponsored post. While this may not seem like much, with 2 billion people daily perusing through Facebook's apps, these 25-cent clicks add up quickly. Facebook's revenue has surged by more than 30 times in the last decade. While their user base has expanded throughout this time, improved revenue has accounted for the majority of their growth. Their average revenue per user increased from $5 to more than $40 between 2011 and 2021. So how are they able to achieve this level of expansion? Facebook employs tens and thousands of engineers. One of their key objectives is to create world-class advertising infrastructure to ensure that Facebook ads are as effective as possible. When you're scrolling through Facebook and come across an ad, they want to increase the chances that you will click on it and buy the product. Apple's IDs for advertisers, or IDFA, is one of the most crucial tools that Facebook has employed to its advantage. An IDFA number is assigned to each iPhone. It is a series of numbers that is similar to a social security number. Importantly, they can see your IDFA number every time you enter into any app on your iPhone. Facebook exploited the IDFA in two main ways: purchase attribution and data collection from non-Facebook apps. Let's start with the attribution of purchase. Assume you're scrolling through Facebook and come across an advertisement for a new mobile video game. If you buy the game after clicking on the ad on Facebook, Facebook knows you bought it and can transmit this information to the marketer. However, if you were about to go to bed when you saw the Facebook ad and thought the game looked fascinating but didn't have the time to download and play it, you might remember the game the next day when you wake up and head straight to the App Store and buy it. Because of your unique IDFA number, Facebook can tell you downloaded the game one day after seeing the Facebook ad, even though you never clicked it. So, they can credit this sale to the Facebook ad campaign. Facebook then can tell advertisers how many conversions their campaign achieved thanks to IDFA. Advertisers love it because it allows them to see their exact advertising ROI in real time. But for Facebook, it is much more significant because IDFA allows them to collect enormous quantities of specific data from each user. Facebook builds a highly complete data profile of each user, which it uses to target adverts. If you like a lot of esports pages on Facebook, for example, they'll know you're a gamer and may start displaying you advertising for gaming PCs. This is to be expected given that it all takes place within the Facebook app. But many people are unaware that the IDFA allows Facebook to follow what you do even when you're not logged in. Assume you're on Safari and looking for information on Hawaii on the internet. Facebook can notice that you're searching for Hawaii and deduce that you're planning a vacation thanks to the IDFA. They will save this information in your user profile and start offering you advertising for travel agencies and other similar services. Facebook basically collects data on everything you do on your phone in order to create a very thorough user profile. This allows them to display highly relevant advertisements with high conversion rates, and purchase attribution allows them to clearly show advertisers the value of Facebook ads and bill them accordingly. So, we all know that Facebook collects a ton of user data and utilizes it to generate tens of billions of dollars in advertising income each year. But is it really that bad? They say that collecting data is beneficial because you don't waste time watching irrelevant adverts and only see ads for products you're likely to be interested in. As a result, for many years, many were unconcerned about Facebook's privacy violations. When the Cambridge Analytica scandal broke in 2018, everything changed. In the run-up to the 2016 presidential elections, a former employee of that company said that they improperly accessed the Facebook profiles of around 50 million Americans. They employed psychological profiles of these individuals to help the Trump team target advertising that elicited strong emotions and persuaded them to vote for Trump. Cambridge Analytica's actions were significantly more aggressive than what Facebook performs in its normal course of business. Nonetheless, it drew attention to the issue of data privacy and social media. People are starting to realize how powerful social media firms like Facebook are, since they know almost everything about their customers. In response, a few celebrities began deactivating their Facebook accounts, and the hashtag #DeleteFacebook became popular for a period. Despite the public outcry, few people cared enough to remove their Facebook accounts, and the number of monthly active users on the site continued to rise. It appeared that Zuckerberg had escaped a bullet and that they could get back on business as usual. But as the scenario unfolded, Apple was keeping a close eye on the chaos from the sidelines. Apple generates revenue by selling actual things to customers. They don't need to collect enormous amounts of consumer data like Facebook because they aren't an advertising platform. They have found a way to exploit Facebook weakness and have decided to go on the offensive. They announced plans for a new software upgrade in 2020 that would make the IDFA tracking code opt-in. They will now ask you if you want to authorize the app to track you via IDFA ahead of time. Because the tracking provides no direct value to the consumer, the vast majority of them will say no. It is clear that this upgrade was intended for Facebook users. Tim Cook even posted a screenshot of an Apple pop-up requesting for permissions to track you from Facebook. Apple has launched a marketing campaign demonstrating how advertisers such as Facebook can follow your data and how you can turn it off with the new iOS upgrades. Because Zuckerberg's entire enterprise was dependent on collecting user data, things were getting desperate for him. Apple's proposals to curtail this ability posed an existential danger to the company. In a desperate attempt to retaliate, Facebook began sponsoring full-page newspaper ads claiming that Apple's privacy changes would harm small businesses that rely on Facebook ads to reach customers. But given how negative public opinion had turned against Facebook, their campaign never stood a chance. It was evident that Apple had triumphed in the war. They succeeded in portraying Facebook as a greedy corporation intent on stealing all of your personal information. Apple was on the side of the customer, protecting their privacy. Apple's new IDFA policy is a major setback for Facebook. In a recent earnings call, Facebook's chief financial officer David Wenner stated that they anticipate to lose $10 billion in income in 2022 as their advertising would be less targeted and they won't be able to charge advertisers as much. To put that into context, Facebook generated a net profit of $40 billion in 2021. The $10 billion in sales lost will almost entirely fall to the bottom line, reducing profits by 25%. This is virtually exactly how their stock price felt when they released this news, which is interesting. It is certainly no surprise that in 2021, shortly after Apple revealed their IDFA policy, Facebook renamed their company Meta and announced a $10 billion investment to develop a metaverse. Facebook is currently almost totally reliant on Apple and Android to reach its users. This puts them in a precarious position. Zuckerberg imagines a new society in which people go about their daily lives in a virtual reality metaverse. There is no need to utilize an Apple or Android smartphones to go to work, meet up with pals, or play video games because you can do everything in the metaverse. Horizon Worlds, a social platform that uses their Oculus virtual reality devices, was recently unveiled. While they haven't said how they plan to commercialize it, they could start displaying advertising in the metaverse at some point. Given that Facebook owns the entire operation, there will be no limits on the amount of data they can acquire. Facebook has sold around 10 million of their largest generation Oculus Quest 2 headsets as of November 2021, but that is a rounding error when compared to their 3 billion monthly active users across all of their social media platforms. Facebook's financial results are broken down into two categories. First, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp are among the apps in this family. Second, Oculus, their portal tablet, and their metaverse investments are all part of Reality Labs. Reality Labs made an operational loss of more than $10 billion in 2021, which is less than 2% of their whole revenue. While their family of applications is highly profitable, Reality Labs made an operating loss of less than 2% of their overall revenue. Since last fall, when they changed their name to Meta, their stocks has dropped 25%, wiping off $220 billion in shareholder value. It appears that many individuals believe the metaverse will be a huge failure, and that the firm would lose tens of billions of dollars following this pipe dream. Despite the challenges, Meta remains the world's largest social media firm, with 3 million monthly active members, and who knows, maybe in 5 years, we'll be watching videos like this from within Zuckerberg's metaverse. Do you believe that Apple's new privacy restrictions will lead to the demise of Facebook? Well, do you believe their metaverse will ever become popular? Please tell us in the comment section below. And with that, today's video comes to an end. If you haven't already, hit the like button to show your love and support for this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell next to it to be the first to know when a new video is posted. Thank you for stopping by to watch, and we hope you had a great time. We hope to see you again soon.